So have you ever had a need to move files between two Linux machines, especially large files or directories full of files? You can do it pretty easy with SCP, so we're going to talk about that tonight. This will be a real short video. We'll call it a 2-minute Tuesday. Okay, so step one, we're going to look at two windows here. The first window, this is our local host. And you can see it's got a local address here, 192.168 address. Over here, we're going to SSH to another machine. And you can see that it is a totally different machine. This is on my VPS. Alright, so first off, we are in our test directory, and on the distant end, the remote host, we're going to go into the remote test directory. And you can see we got a couple of files in each one. In the remote, we have a remote.zip file and a directory blog-post with files in it. In the local one, we have a GeoIP directory with files in it and a local file or shell. It's just a simple shell script. So what we're going to do is we're going to move some files around. For the first step, we'll keep it pretty simple and just go from the local host out to the remote host. So, and this is very common if you're trying to move files around. You have probably encountered this before, I'm sure. So I'm just going to copy and paste just to keep this a little bit shorter. So we're going to take the eda-test.sh file and we're going to send it to my user at the remote host, and we're going to stick it in the remote-test directory. And that's all there is to it, is SCP and that command. Type in your password. And the file moves. We can jump over here and verify it. And we now have the file. Now then, if we want to move our entire directory structure, all we do is just add the -r flag and substitute files for directories. So it's very, very easy to do. And you know, like once you get used to the command, it's definitely something you'll use all the time. So here we're going to take the entire directory, GeoIP data, and we're going to recursively copy that to my user at that host and put it in the remote test directory. Now this one will probably take a little bit because it's fairly large. But there's an option you can use to make it a little bit quicker. You can actually do it in front of the -r. You can put in a capital C, which will use compression. So on something very large like a VM or an ISO, you can definitely get the size down and move it quicker. You can also limit bandwidth with SCP. So if you're moving a really big file and it's going to take a couple hours and you don't want to tie up all your bandwidth, you can just give it half of your bandwidth or a very small portion. And then you can also change the port. You can there's a lot you can do with it, so I suggest check the man page out. Okay, this thing's it's moving right along. It's going to take it a minute. So SCP is not only good for moving from your local host to a remote host, you can also grab files off a remote host, and we'll go into that here in a second. But this is all made possible over the SSH protocol. So whatever you're moving, it is confidential. It's encrypted, so no one's going to be able to see what you're doing if they're sniffing the wire somewhere. So if you're moving evidence or log files from one machine to another, you can see where this would be a very handy tool. In Windows, of course, you have other means of moving files with shares and things like that, or even FTP, which you can also use both of those in Linux too, but because you have the command line utilities such as SCP and SSH, it allows you to do this much easier. So this thing is just about done. And okay, it's done. So we can come over here and check in the remote and see if it's there. And it is. So let's CD into the directory. And we've got all the files. So that's pretty quick and easy if you ask me. Alright, let me go ahead and get rid of these files. Okay, so they're gone now, so we're back down to just the two original files that were there. So now let's go ahead and grab those files and pull them back. Alright, so what we're going to do this time is we're going to use the SCP command. We're going to go to my user at my remote host, colon, and basically the full path to the file we want to get. So we're going to do /home/eda/remote-test/remote.zip, which is the file we want to get. And then we're going to bring it back and we're going to stick it in the /home/eda/test directory, which is the directory we're working out of here. So we hit enter. Type in our password, and it pulls the file back for us. And then if we do a ls, you can see we now have the remote.zip. And again, just as easy with the with pulling back the entire directory recursively. Okay, so here we're going to pull back, we're going to do the exact same command, but this time we're going to pull back the blog-post directory and stick it in the EDA test directory. And there it goes, it just pulled them all back. So if we do an ls, we can see we've got the blog post directory, CD into it, and we got all the files. Pretty easy. I hope this helps you guys out. Moving files around is pretty nice from the command line. Alright, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give it a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down. Don't care either way. It helps me figure out what's wrong and what's right. If you like this and want to see more content like it, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.